Okay, now we're going to go to the next lesson. This lesson is on simplifying algebraic expressions. So right here at the top, this top box, we have some vocabulary words: term, coefficient, constant, and then like terms. So term is defined as a number, a variable, or a product of numbers and variables. Coefficient is that numerical part of a term that also contains a variable. A constant is just a term that does not have a variable, and like terms are terms that have the same variable. So we're going to skip all the way down to the exercises, and we're going to do a few of these together. So this first section, it says to identify the terms, like terms, coefficients, and constants in each expression. So we're going to go to number 1, and I'm going to go through and I want to circle all the terms that there are. So 2 is a term, 6a is a term, and notice that there's a plus sign in front of it, so that plus sign goes with the 6a, and then 4a is also a term. So there are 3 terms. So I'm going to let me zoom in. So I'm going to write terms. I'm going to make a colon, and my terms are 2, positive 6a, and then positive 4a. Okay, like terms. And sometimes there might not be any like terms. So like terms would be any terms that have the same variable, which in this case would be the 6a and the 4a. The next is coefficients. So for coefficients, those would be the numbers that are hooked on, if you will, to the variables. So in this case, I have a positive 6 in front of the a and a positive 4 in front of a. So the 6 and the 4 are both considered coefficients. And we also need to identify constants. And again, sometimes there may not be any constants. In this case, there are. 2 is a constant. So the constant is a term that just doesn't have a variable attached to it. So 2 would be a constant. All right, let's look at number 4. I want to go to that one. So first we're going to identify the terms. And in this case, I see that 5h is a term, that minus 3g, so when I write that term down, I'm going to write it as negative 3g. 2g is positive, or has a plus sign in front of it, so just positive 2g. And then the last one I have is negative h. And then I'm going to write that as negative 1h because it means the same thing. Okay, my like terms. So like terms will be the terms that have the same variable attached to them. In this case, I have 2 sets. So the 5h and the negative 1h are like terms. 5h and negative 1h. And then the other set of like terms is negative 3g and 2g. Okay, now we're going to identify the coefficients. And again, those are the numbers that are hooked on, if you will, to my variables. So 5 is a coefficient, negative 3 is a coefficient, not 3, but negative 3, positive 2, and negative 1. And then lastly, constants. And the constants would be the terms that do not have variables hooked on to them. I do not have any constants here, so I'm going to write the word none. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is I've done problems 1 and 4. I want you to finish just problems 2 through 6 right now. So I want you to pause the video, do 2 through 6, and then when you come back, we'll talk about the next section here. Okay, so good luck with that. Okay, so now you should be checking problems 2, 3, 5, and 6. Couple things. Remember I said sometimes you won't have any constants, and sometimes you also don't have any like terms. So for example, in number 5, there were no like terms there. So when it asked me to identify the like terms, I said none. And number 6 also was a case where there were no constants. So I said none is that one as well. Okay, so once you've been able to identify terms, like terms, the coefficients, and constants, then you're able to simplify expressions using that information. So we're going to go down to the next section, 7 through 14, and we're going to simplify the expressions by combining our like terms. Now, when I do this, I actually like to use a highlighter to help me here. Or you could use different colored pens or what have you to also help. So for number 7, I'm going to highlight the like terms. Now this one actually is pretty simple, 9m and the 3m. But that plus sign or the minus sign, I always tell my students that that plus or minus always goes with the term that it's in front of. Okay, and then you just follow the, add or subtract as it says. So 9m plus 3m. Well, 9 plus 3 is 12, so that's going to give me 12m. So the solution here, or the answer here, is going to be 12m. Okay, so I just circled that. Let's look at number, we'll go to number 8. So here we are. Number 8, we have 5x minus x. So again, I'm going to highlight the like terms. So the 5x and the x are like terms. And remember that that minus sign would go with the x, just like I said. And minus x, that's the same as minus 1x. So I'm really doing 5 minus 1, which is 4. So that would give me 4x. So that's going to be my solution for number 8. Let's skip to number 12, and then we can try some on you can try some on your own. So for number 12, I have 3y plus 1 plus 5 plus 4y. So I'm going to start off by looking at my like terms. So 3y and that 4y, remember the plus goes with the 4y. Those are both like terms, so I've highlighted them in the same color, in this case green. I'm going to change it to my highlighter color to a different, because this 1 and this 5, they're both constants, but they would be considered like terms. The plus sign goes with the 1, and that plus sign goes with the 5. All right, so when I go ahead and combine these, so I'm going to start with that 3y plus 4y. Well, 3 plus 4 is 7, so that makes 7y. And then with my constants, I have positive 1 plus 5. So that'd be positive 6. So I'm going to write plus 6. So the solution here is 7y plus 6. The 7 and the 6 do not get added because they're not like terms. So it's 7y plus 6. Let's try one more together. Let's try number 13. So first, I'm going to get my highlighter again. I have 8d minus 4 minus d plus 5. So that 8d and that minus d are like terms and can be combined. So they're highlighted both in the same color. I chose green. The 4, remember it's a minus sign in front of it. And the 5, so that plus sign gets highlighted, those are also like terms and they can be combined. So I'm going to do 8d, and then you see the minus d. Remember, that's the same as a 1d. So 8d minus 1d would give me 7d. And now with my constants, I've got them highlighted. That 4 has a minus in front of it, so I'm going to treat it as negative 4. Negative 4 plus 5. Well, negative 4 plus 5 is positive 1, so I'm going to write a plus 1. So my solution, or my simplified expression, is going to be 7d plus 1. You cannot combine the 7 and the 1, so this is not going to be 8d. This is as simplified as it will go, because the 7d and the 1 are not like terms. Okay, so you need to complete problems 9, 10, 11, and 14. Take a few minutes, pause the video, take a few minutes, and complete those problems, then come back and check your answers. So good luck with that. Welcome back. Hopefully you did well with 9, 10, 11, and 14, and that you understand what you're doing. Again, if you're struggling, please first go back and read the top section of this worksheet for the notes. You can also reach out to your teacher for help. Once you've finished all of that, then you're ready to go on to the independent practice and then move on to the mastery check. Don't forget that you have to actually upload this assignment and turn this in before you'll be able to complete your independent practice. Good luck.